was 9 years old, I stood with my family in the rain. It was a warmer January than most in Buffalo, New York, and we were waiting to enter St. Paul's Cathedral. My parents each grew up in families plagued by mental illness and addiction, and so they gravitated to the church, to community, for both love and survival. My brother and I grew up in that mindset, but this wasn't our church. We were there to hear Archbishop Desmond Tutu speak against apartheid in South Africa. We filed in and packed into the hard pew under the pulpit. Just above us, this man of faith in his purple tunic spoke of horrific atrocities endured by non-white South Africans and beautiful possibilities of dignity, power, and healing for all. The room was electric. I was riveted by his energy and the invitation for each of us to support freedom fighters in the land he loved. I sat there thinking about my friends who had recently arrived from Trinidad, or whose black, brown, white, or multiracial families had lived in the city for generations. I thought about my own parents, who moved here from Detroit and Milwaukee to finally build a home. I squeezed the hand of my neighbor, the son of Polish immigrants who had become like a grandfather to me. Our experiences coming together across race and blood lines meant everything to me. I knew that racism and segregation was common in Buffalo, even in my community. And yet my friends and I, we had the freedom, the ability to tap into our greatest potential. So listening to Desmond Tutu speak, I got a funny feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like it wasn't okay for me to reach my potential if others couldn't achieve theirs. Years later, my parents would say that even at 9 years old, I could see and wanted to bring out the best in others, that I could imagine and wanted to bring about the power of the whole. Following this vision led me as a 33-year-old wife and mother to become the executive director of an environmental education organization working in urban public schools. I wanted to lift up and celebrate the potential of teenagers to solve our climate crisis. The organization was in a tough financial situation. I remember one cross-country trip to Washington, D.C. It was my third trip that month. I was building a relationship with a new funder, hiring a new team, redesigning our programs, everything we needed to succeed. But I wasn't. I worked constantly, lost 15 pounds, couldn't imagine having a second kid. I felt responsible to do everything to save the day, neglecting the roles others could or had to play. I was overwhelmed and defeated. Maybe some of you can relate. I was in tears in my hotel room trying to make it all work. My phone kept buzzing. My husband was trying to get through. I pulled it together with enough energy to answer. He was abrupt. Our daughter Althea was sick and crying for me to come home. I snapped that there was nothing I could do, first frustrated, then helpless, and guilty. My efforts to build a thriving organization were failing, all while I let my family down. This was not what Desmond Tutu had inspired in me. I was not shining. I was not bringing out the best in others. We were not growing together. I had to stop. Standing still, I saw myself through Althea's eyes. Distracted, unavailable, stressed. I realized I had literally overworked every opportunity afforded me as a white woman in my attempts to increase the chances of others with less access. I was propelled not by status, but by a kind of savior ego that defined my value as a human by how much work I did for the cause. And here was a 4-year-old little girl who needed me more than anyone. My commitment to social change had to include me being a more present parent. So I took a deep breath, and I made the hard decision to leave the organization. I stopped plowing ahead, and I was rebuilding. Starting to reconnect to my potential. What moved me in Desmond Tutu's invitation so many years before was this idea that each of us has a place in bringing about a better world. And sacrificing yourself is not a solution. It's martyrdom. Snuffing out your spirit just when the world needs you most. When our children need us. When we need each other. I learned the hard way that one person can only do so much, and that we too often silence the contributions of too many. And changing that is how we bring about a world that is whole, so much greater than the sum of its parts. And I wanted whole solutions to ignite our full potential, to allow each of us to take care of ourselves and our families, to connect with each other in and across communities, to protect the land we love. That was the kind of work I wanted to do in my life. And so when a friend approached me about helping a scientist, banker, and movie star in their quest to move America to 100% clean, renewable energy, I was intrigued. Here were leaders powerful in their own right, made even more powerful by coming together. And their Stanford-based research proved that we can get to 100% clean, renewable energy with technologies that exist today. We don't have to wait for some breakthrough. We can do this now. We can electrify everything and power all our energy needs with the wind, water, and sun. How it works is that it's different in every state. Solar wins big in Nevada, wind is in Texas, and water is key in New York. I learned that this transformation isn't just possible, it's happening fast. In 20 states, rooftop solar is already the same price or cheaper than electricity from the grid. And the solar industry alone employs more Americans than oil, coal, or gas. Yeah. In fact, you could populate a city the size of Pittsburgh with people employed in the renewable energy sector alone, exclusively with people employed in the renewable energy sector. It was a compelling case, but I wasn't sure it was a match for me. Clean energy felt too narrow, and like a lot of people, I was tired of an environmental movement that didn't see the bigger picture. So with my heart beating, I met with the board to share and lay out what was most important to me. I wanted to add community to the science, business, and culture lens we applied to all our work. I wanted to have another kid. I wanted everyone on our team to do what was theirs to do and grow together. And I wanted the media attention and dollars we raised to be shared with the grassroots organizations already implementing solutions on the ground. Were they with me? They responded with a resounding yes. And a little more than 2 years ago, I became the executive director of the Solutions Project. Together, we changed our mission to 100% clean, renewable energy for 100% of people, for everyone. 100% for 100% is a big, bold vision and requires leadership from all corners and sectors. And the Solutions Project has a specific role to play. Our work is to inspire people to crave clean energy and invest in the community organizations making change happen for everyone. When we play that role well, we create space for others to do what they're great at. Our partner and my friend Mia Yoshitani leads the Asian Pacific Environmental Network, which organizes Asian American and immigrant voices in California to fight dirty fossil fuels and demand affordable clean energy. They are winning big, like $1 billion for solar installations on low-income housing. Their work is part of a shared vision, but not my part. My part is to invest in Mia and her incredible team so they have the resources they need and the platform they deserve. We found more and more Americans are coming together to ensure everyone has access to clean energy, even in unexpected places. Take my hometown of Buffalo, New York, a city so challenged yet full of human potential. Another one of our local partners, Push Buffalo, worked to transform blocks with abandoned houses and an abandoned job market into a vibrant landscape of solar-powered homes, where small business grows and communities are strengthened, where Josh Smith plants rain gardens to manage storm surges, Oweso Salim mentors local kids after school, and Lorna Hill uses theater to tell stories of justice and peace. These everyday heroes do what they do to make their communities better. Some may think of themselves as climate crusaders, others may not, and it doesn't really matter. They are creating and adopting solutions that work for everyone. Clean energy is a part of that path, and that path is wide enough for all of us. I found a better place for myself on that path, now a mother of 2 daughters. And every working parent knows it is a constant challenge to be present and provide for your family. What would keep me from ever going back to that dark hole, overworked and miserable in a hotel room? Our culture is in a dark hole because too many of us are disconnected from ourselves, from each other, and from the earth. And that has us disconnected from our potential, our power, our ability to see clearly the world we want and work with others to achieve it. Our relationships are what keep us connected and moving forward on that path. Very few people need saviors in this world. We need partners and true friends. Each of us has a role to play in bringing about a better world. A better world is each of us having a place. We can no longer think a few brilliant outside experts will solve our problems. We can and must solve them together. Each of us bringing our brilliance forward, connecting with and celebrating each other, protecting and honoring the whole. That's a 100% solution. So what's yours to do? Where can you connect with others? How can you heal yourself, our communities, and the earth? As Sandra Steingraber, a mother, cancer survivor, and fierce advocate for healthy communities, wrote, "We are all musicians in a great human orchestra, and it's now time to play the Save the World Symphony." You are not required to play a solo, but you are required to know what instrument you hold and play it as well as you can. You are required to know what place in the score you are. What we love, we must protect. That's what love means. Thank you.